Like poker is very much risk reward, and you can actually equivalent a lot of that to trading.
We've come to Dublin today, well I've come to Dublin today to see Gerry, good friend of ours. We've been good friends now for how long? 18 months?
About that, yeah.
We met at another trading convention, didn't we?
We did, yeah,
And,
in London.
We hit it off, as you can tell by the Guinness.
I have two of them now.
Yeah,
Cheers.
Cheers.
To a lovely bank holiday weekend.
To a lovely bank holiday weekend in Ireland. We've got a couple of traders coming up today. It's quite fortunate because I was travelling for some other business, and obviously Gerry's in Dublin, so I only get to see him sort of once or twice a year if he's over in London. But obviously, being in Ireland, I thought, well, we'd meet up with a few traders, didn't we? Because we've got a good Irish community already. There's a lot of people coming through the door, and obviously the Irish are great people, a great laugh. Who's the best dressed? Gerry. I was going to put a shirt on today, but it's bank holiday. I'm not in the office, so it's all right. Listen, I think Gerry's a very good trader, which I think anyone that's in our community knows that already. They've been around long enough. What I love about Gerry, without blowing his trumpet too much, is there is no ego with Gerry. He's a very down-to-earth guy, very good at what he does. He's not loud, arrogant. He's a very good trader. He keeps disciplined, consistent. I think that's what we were saying before, wasn't it? That's what everything's wrong with our community at the moment, or not wrong, but too many people have too many egos in the community. Gerry was saying earlier, we're out here trying to help people. What I've found, it's quite interesting, because obviously I'm the owner of a company, so I get a lot of people that come to me, a lot. People that they wouldn't admit it, but they'll be like, can I have a free challenge, or can you do this for me? Can you give me this discount? Could you fund me? Could you give me an extension? And the one thing I say to them, I say, yeah, that's not a problem, we can help you, but, what have you done to help yourself? We offer free risk reviews. We're the only prop firm, and Gerry, you've done it with a few people where you've actually given 5 to 10 one-to-one training sessions to talk about their strategy on Zoom, 10 hours of free one-to-one content.
Yeah.
But everyone's egos, or a lot of people's egos, they won't take it. So when they come to me saying, I can't do this, it's too hard,
There's a massive high failure rate in the industry.
Huge.
When you're starting, you need to have that structure, right? Because like with anything, if you don't have a structure, you don't know where you're going, right? So you don't know where you are, you can't measure performance, you can't measure progress. If you can't measure progress, then like a simple trading plan, right? So a lot of guys and ladies have no plan, right? If you haven't a plan, you can't determine what you're doing and why you're doing it. So therefore you're taking trades willy-nilly, as the saying goes, or off the cuff, or shooting from the hip, as those expressions say. But you need to have a plan, right? If you don't have a plan, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be in that 80 to 90% industry standard of traders.
And I think
who are going to lose money.
it's like my WhatsApp. If you look at my phone now, I can get it out literally and show the camera. I get messages every day. I can't do this. I'm not good enough. Mindset's massively important. I think mindset's massively important in life. There's so many. Unfortunately, I've seen some great success stories in Alpha. I mean,
Even this week?
Well, yeah, even this week. But
For example, yeah.
But I'm sure that people like Matt Dreyer-Roy, who's over in Atlanta, which is quite funny because I met a woman last night in a pub from Atlanta, which I messaged Matt. Matt knows who he is. In our community, he's now had his 6th payout, but he was with us for 12 months. Failed many challenges.
Did a risk review.
The man didn't stop learning. Was positive. And he's got to where he is today, where he's had over $50,000 in payouts. But then
your salary is made pretty much.
Yeah, and then the other side of it is people that, they say they really want something, but like anything, it's mindset. If it was that easy, every single person would be doing it. Trading gives you the opportunity to live better than any job can give you. Any job, any C-level executive job. But people just, they need to be prepared to do the work. Yeah.
It takes time. It took me 3 years.
But it's failure, isn't it?
Yeah.
You've got to be prepared to fail. If you don't fail and keep getting back up and keep getting an action plan, then you'll never succeed.
But also the other thing there is learning from your mistakes.
Yeah.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of people probably will watch this and think, am I learning from my mistakes? Probably not. If you can learn from your mistakes, let's say for example, in February you make 5 mistakes. Then in April you can whittle it down to 3. That's measurable progress. Then hopefully by October, November, you've eradicated, or you've kind of put some sort of process that can eradicate those mistakes.
I think there's another thing as well. You know, people hang on to, you know, the get rich quick scheme.
Definitely.
You know,
yeah.
I've tried to be a trader and I've failed 2 challenges, so I'll never be successful. I'll never be a trader. Well, that's not the case. It's just people need to be prepared to put the work
I felt the number before I got funded.
Failure is the most important thing in life. If you don't fail, you're never going to learn or grow.
Like the way, like you can draw very clear similarities of life and trading. Although it sounds a bit cliche, but you can actually draw some very, very clear.
But I'll go back to you know, Alpha as a whole and the company that we've tried to build, and I think we've built very well, and we're still growing. You know, we are life or, and I know personally from many times about failure, but life or trading is always going to be tough. So you need to make sure that you've got the best environment to do it in. So what does Alpha give you? Well, they give you the best trading conditions. They give you access to me, you,
Support network.
George. You know, there's no other firm out there that you can pick up their WhatsApp of the CEO or director or founder of the company and drop them a message. Now, for me, why I think this is so important for us, why I push it so much. You know, some people might look at me and think, oh, you know, he shouldn't be, you know, doing the support work and speaking to everyone. But no, that's vitally important, because if you are trading somebody's money, if you are in a position where you're working in London on a trading floor and you've been positioned in an investment bank to trade or a hedge fund that trades a certain amount of money, you have direct access to decision makers in that firm. Direct access. You know, and that's what makes you in a more comfortable environment. You know, for me to build this and why we're doing it so much and why we're here today and why we're about to take out 4 or 5 traders for dinner. Every trip I'll go on now, for business or whatever, I'll reach out and say, is there any Alpha traders there? Because we want to make sure that they have access to us. You know, even if it's a problem that we need to find a solution for, you know. I've said it many times, haven't I? And I back it. Pick the phone up, ring me, message me. And I will never stop doing this. Even though we've grown so much, I will never stop doing this. Because if they're working for us, you know, my job is essentially to manage people within the business. So if they're working for us, they need direct access to us. If they have a problem, or if they need to find a solution for that problem, they're not going to find that if they don't have access to someone like myself, like Gerry, like George. You know, you're never gonna have that. So we've built a home for someone that wants to trade.
The way I'd look at it is it's a mutual beneficial partnership, right? We help them, they help us, everyone wins. And that's the simple thing, right? If they can get over the line, they get funded, they're making regular money, payouts every 2 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it is. They're growing, they're developing, they're making money, they're happy, it benefits us.
But they'll be looked after. That's the most important thing. Anyone that comes in Alpha Capital Group, any single person, doesn't matter if you're doing a 10k account, 200k account, you will be looked after. And I think that, you know, one thing I can really stand on is the fact that, you know, we are in a position whereby, you know, I know anyone you ask in my Discord or anyone else in my community, is Alex there if things go wrong? Yes, he is. Is Gerry there if things go wrong? Yes, he is. Is Alex there if a difficult conversation needs to be had? Yes, he is. You know, there's one thing, we will always be honest, open, and we'll always deliver. Don't get me wrong, we'll not let anyone take, you know, if someone is in the wrong, then we'll tell them, you're in the wrong.
And at the same point, if we make a mistake, we're happy to put our hand up and make sure the client's not disadvantaged in any way, shape or form. And that's, again, important, because at least that way then, if they know that something bad has happened, they have then the trust to say, well, right, something bad's happened, it'll be sorted, I'm not going to be disadvantaged or affected. So at least that would then, the relationship across the board maintains that really strong aspect. But at the same time then, they can progress, they can develop. Like Matt's a prime example of that, I think. So I actually know Matt personally probably close to 4 years. So we were in a third-party external group way back, pre-COVID, even long before COVID. And we actually became quite good friends through that. And he obviously, I got involved with Alpha back end of 2021, and he was doing multiple accounts with us over the last probably 12 months or so. I was on the cusp, again, kind of like a lot of people, that kind of 5-10% short. We did a risk review, and Matt's development over the last
crazy.
6 months has just been like nuclear. It's just been unbelievable. Like, I nearly think he's probably a far better trader than even I am. But he has a very, very clear approach as to what he's doing and why he's doing it above all else. There's certain assets that he focuses on. So that's even something that we talk about in the risk reviews is, if you're trading certain assets, being able to understand the asset or the instrument, or whether it's Forex or indices or gold, whatever it is, being able to understand that asset, contract size, volatility. These are like things on a deeper level that a lot of traders probably wouldn't think of that often, right? So he looks at, right, I know if he's trading, let's say for example, Dow Jones, the industry, the indices, should I say, he might say, well, I know that the average volatility is 1.5% per day. So he knows, he can quantify that the volatility is within a certain range. And those little bit of finer details can really springboard development in the back end, because then you're looking at maybe certain catalysts or indicators or different price action instruments or tools that you're using to kind of complement what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then obviously the approach that you're following through with your trading decisions. And like, as I said, his decision-making process has come on rapid. His development has been incredible, and he's a nice guy as well. So like, you only like to see people like that actually really springboard the progress, which is great.
I think progress with anything though is it's got a compounded factor, hasn't it?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, definitely.
The compounded factor being that, you know, as we get all the time, people that come into the industry and they try prop trading and they fail a couple of challenges, like Matt did. You know, that's Matt Drearoy. Big shout out to Matt. From Arizona, Georgia.
No, Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia, sorry.
Phoenix, Arizona, that's a difference
Phoenix,
there.
Arizona, yeah. There's too many Guinness. Get me out of Ireland, get me back to England. But no, he's been brilliant. And there's a few now that we've seen over the past 18 months.
Tom as well, another prime example. He had industry experience.
From Pereira,
yeah. He had industry experience.
Joey
as well.
Joey Williams, he's been brilliant.
Like, there's so many guys, and even...
What happened to Tom? Tell me the story about Tom.
So Tom worked with
JP Morgan.
He's
done a trader interview on YouTube. Right?
He's done a trader interview with us as well, and like, that's an incredible insight as to someone not affiliated with the business, doesn't work with the business, but how they've progressed their journey, right? And he was doing options, I think, if memory serves me right, and he was trading different instruments, and now he's got that autonomy because he's managing fairly significant and proportionate size of capital, but he's doing it on his terms. He's creating that work-life balance, but he's trading the way he's trading. So he's developed this kind of approach, and he's fairly regularly taking profits out of the market.
But what's crazy about that, right? If you look at it, there's one common factor that goes into all this. Anyone that sticks around in our community long enough, yeah,
in the industry, I would even say more broadly,
but sticks around long enough in the industry, is not scared to communicate, is not scared to understand where they could potentially improve, can have an open conversation, can keep a positive mindset, can have back and forth, can have conversation, can jump on a risk review, can jump on 2, 3, 4 risk reviews, and is consistently trying to improve. They will make it. It's just a matter of time. But then, you know, once it's a matter of time, there's a different factor. Then you've got to be disciplined once you've got the account. But yeah, what I've seen, it's been incredible. It's been the past 18 months just watching people that, you know, even me personally, 6 to 7 months ago, there's certain people that are funded now, I'd have thought, not a chance. You know, I would have. But now you just see, and it's great for me to see it, because we're now starting to reap them rewards from the company being going for 18 months. Look, and we're doing something right. We are helping people.
It takes time. Again, like when you enter the industry, when you look to become funded, even regardless, even us, anywhere.
You've lost a few funded accounts in your time, eh?
I have. Don't rub it in.
I've lost me.
But like, again, that's like, even there, for example, like sometimes there last week, I traded dollar yen, had a great day, caught the counter trend short last Monday, ran it for a couple of days. was trying to short indices yesterday because there was some fairly negative data out yesterday with growth and stuff like that. It didn't go with me, but that's where like you have to be nimble enough to be able to react to market conditions, right? So a lot of people tend to like marry a trade, and they'll try, even though it's going against them and it's continuing to go against them and compounding the negative, they'll still try and find a way that, oh, this is still going to work out. But you have to be able to walk away too. Like you have to be able to cut your losses, and that's why more recently, I think over the last year or so, I've become very, very ruthless in terms of, well, if this isn't coming through, you have to be able to, like, death by 1,000 cuts, isn't that the analogy? I think so. It's you just better off losing a limb than losing the whole body, and that's the way I look at it, you know. And I think that's really, really important as well, you know.
I think you have to be understanding. This is one thing that I've brought over coming from a regulated background, working for Drew, working in big stockbrokers, is, you know, technical analysis is obviously a key driving factor to any day trading, but you need to understand, you're degree educated in finance, you need to understand the fundamental aspects of trading, why monetary systems do what they do, why impacts of inflation, policy, stagflation, everything that can impact the dollar. So, you know, if you don't have that, you're missing a massive part of the game.
Simply speaking, right, the way I look at it is, right, you've got your commodities, you've got your FX, you've got your stock markets, you've got these wide range of assets, right? They're all related in some way, shape or form, right? So I think of it as a massive, just to simplify it for someone who's like quite basic, it's like a giant spider's web, right? So they're all related in some way, shape or form. But it's just being able to understand how these different assets are related gives you already that 10, 20% more knowledge of, well, let's say for example, right, we know broadly in normal market circumstances, dollar and indices are negatively correlated because of course if money's flowing out of risk assets into safer havens, i.e. dollar, yen, Swiss franc, even maybe gold, it's going to flow out of another asset. So there's always monetary flows between asset classes. So if you can understand how those flows work. So even for example, like me now, I trade with 5 assets, right? I trade euro dollar, I trade cable, I trade S&P 500 and I trade NASDAQ predominantly. But I use the DXY, dollar index, as my barometer to gauge market sentiment. So I know, right, if DXY is moving higher, dollar sentiment stronger, so therefore people are buying into dollars, therefore they're getting out of other assets. So what are they getting out of? Well, they're either probably selling euros, they're selling pounds, or they're probably selling stock markets. So that simple question alone can help intricately get you on the right side of sentiment. So on an intraday basis, or even on a, let's say, a weekly basis or a monthly basis, you're trading the right side. And simple things like that, those little 5% here and there, if you can, as you mentioned earlier, the compounding, those little things added up, but they make a massive difference.
It's like when I used to work, I used to do, so I used to run sort of sales desks for 2 big CFD brokers in London. And, you know, not everyone's going to have, that does prop trading, a master's degree in finance. But, you know, if you're investing in yourself, my big thing, which I still get to this day, has taught me a lot, is Money Week. I used to always buy the Money Week magazine. You get your every Friday you get it. There's many books out there to understand the basic.
There's some very, very good books. There's a good book I'm reading at the minute. It's called Thinking in Bets, and it's by Annie Duke, and she was a World Series poker champion. And you can, like, poker is very much risk reward, and there's a lot of similarities between poker, what you're putting in, what are you getting back, and you can actually equivalent a lot of that to trading. And I've found actually that's more recently has been very, very good, because even just rational thinking, I think is obviously important, but also realizing that, right, if you were to play poker now, me and you realize that you're not going to win every hand, and that's the way trading is. You realize it's win-loss, reducing your losses as much as possible. Accepting it as well. Protection of downside, I always say risk mitigation is obviously quite important, but then thinking of, right, when you've got something strong here, when you've got something coherent and clear, and you're confident, then you can be a little bit more, not say aggressive, but
flamboyant.
Well, that's well, Alex is king of flamboyant anyway, isn't he? So, like,
bit of boy.
Yeah, for sure. But like, it's just being clear.
But I think you have to understand the basic economics. I mean, I've spoke to many people, and it's like, oh, you see it in the Discord. Why is that done that? And it's like, you know, it's very simple stuff.
Those YouTube videos are handy that I do.
Yeah, you do some great YouTube videos. We need to do more of them, to be fair. We do need to do more of them, but I think just, you know, learning about, it's not just all about technical analysis, you've got to learn about how markets work and how markets move.
They're liquid.
And why they move.
Yeah.
Because it is, you know.
If you think, right, markets are liquid in a state, right? So that means that they're constantly ever changing. So if you're not able to change with the markets,
Yeah.
then you're probably...
And it's all cyclical, so it all comes round again. It all comes round
again.
again.
But like, again, another thing that I just say, and I said it to a couple of risk review guys this week, when you're looking at the markets, it's like what goes up must come down, right? So like the markets won't always go in one direction. There will be a time when there'll be corrections, retracements, even change of trends.
My old thing.
You're getting bored now listening to me talking.
Yeah. No, but it's a funny thing because I used to always get told to, and don't get, I've said this many times, it's, you know, I'm not a great trader. I've lost a lot of money personally trading because I get excited. Probably have a few of them, start trading on a Friday and end up in bits. But on a serious note, always short an all-time high.
Yeah,
if you do that,
well, that's
what he says, what goes up must come down. I remember when we had that massive run, probably about a year ago, 2 years ago.
2020, yeah, we had what,
huge.
We had 125%
Every time you saw an all-time high, you know it was going to come back down again.
Well, there was always a little bit of a retrace. Yeah. So yeah, like even the strategy I use, I look for break a structure, break a trend. Excuse me. The Guinness is repeating me there. So I look for obviously break a trend. So if the markets is moving, looking for that kind of retracement back down, because as I said, most likely it'll go back into a range, it'll go back to a value area, and that's actually, I think there was a few traders actually in the community were sharing images.
The Dow.
Yeah, the Dow.
Dow.
That's exact. So it's
that's
like
been recently 150.
Yeah. So like, what?
Getting told off by the camera woman.
Oh,
sorry.
You're getting told off.
Getting sold off. There's a guy that's trading, well, there's a guy that's trading Dow at the moment. He's doing exceptionally well. Gold does exceptionally well. It's strange because...
I should have plugged into the dashboard to check his results.
Yeah, but no, but like, I think we've just had, I don't think the guy's been paid yet. He's due to be paid Monday. But I think that's our highest ever payout. I think it's 50,000.
No, 45.
I'm not going to say that any names, but he was, and again, this is where the greed aspect comes in. He was up 140 grand, $140,000 on Wednesday. I think he cashed out still at about $50,000-$60,000, which was nice, but he was up $140,000. I mean, what else is going to show you that kind of money?
There's also another mutual trader, one that I actually know and you know as well. He's actually from up your neck of the woods, up north.
Kevin won't mind me mentioning him actually.
Yeah.
Kevin won't mind me mentioning him actually because I know Kevin well because anyone that's up north now we know them all. Yeah. And now everyone that's in Ireland we're going to know them as well.
But funnily enough, I actually did a bit of tutoring with Kev. 2 years ago maybe. Yeah, it's been a while, and it's funny how all of these swings and roundabouts come back out in the industry. But
it just proves though that guy's got a $45,000 $45,000 payout. What's that? 39 grand, 38 grand?
That was what, 4 weeks ago.
So, you know that guy's Gerry's mentored him 2 years ago through another company, which is an education company,
and he's killing it.
And now he's just delivered a 38 grand payout. So, all the people, what I would say to everyone that's watching this, is if you feel like you're going to quit, just keep going.
I felt like quitting.
Just keep going. You gotta keep going. You don't know how close you are though. You don't know how close you are.
You can like, you often see these like on Instagram, these pages that share, and you see the guy digging and he's looking for diamonds.
For the diamonds.
Yeah, and he turns around and he's that. You never know how close you are. And like the way I look at it is progress is very much like the markets. They're up, they're down, they're up, they're down. But it's just being able to, I suppose, being able to improve the efficiency, progress, learn, develop. I think they're those massive skills, but then never give up. Yeah, definitely.
You can't give up, but you know, you can't give up. But at the same time, what's the saying, which everyone knows, about insanity, doing the same thing.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again.
Doing the same thing over and over again. So, as again, I'm sitting in the hot seat. I get the messages, I get the calls. Alex, I can't do it. Why can't you do it? I just can't, but if you give me another challenge, I'm going to do it this time round. Well, what makes you think you're going to do it this time round that you did it last time round? Get on the phone with Gerry, get on a risk review, get on a Zoom. Use things that are free. You got an hour of this man's time. He's very good at what he does. You know, he's educated to do what he does. He's qualified to do what he does. You know, he's been through the process. Use the knowledge. Take it. It's there for free. We're giving you it for free. We're not doing it for the sake of our own good. We're doing it for you guys.
Yeah, let's grab some.
See, look, I've just had a message, right? This is quite funny. I'm not going to say anyone's name. Let's give you a flash of it. A blurry picture, but this is because of Alpha Capital Group. Thank you. And that's just come through. And someone's, obviously, I'm not going to say what it is, but purchased themselves something. So, you know, it just proves it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you know, give yourself half a chance. You know, and that's not, and I've always said this, and I get this a lot, you know, if you're not earning a lot of money, right? Because not everyone earns a lot of money, right? It takes time in any walk of life. But, you know, you don't need to go and spend a load of money on a challenge to try and get the best challenge, to try and pass and put yourself under unnecessary duress and pressure, you know? Take your time, get something small. If you need it, if you're from, you know, if you're struggling and you don't have the money and you want to try and come to us and say, look, you know, we'll try and work a deal out for you.
And even without interrupting there, like that's something that I say to everyone as well. The markets are pressurized and difficult enough as it is. You should never kind of put like, so prime example, at the start, I used to always say, well, I want to make 5 to 10% a month. And when you put these objectives in, it can be very, very hard, because then what happens if you don't reach 5%? What happens if you have a bad month, you lose 1%?
But also,
or
it's
whatever.
if you're on quite a modest salary and you've got a goal and ambition to be a trader, but you're looking at, okay, I'm going to buy a 200k challenge and it's XYZ price, and you know it could do me XYZ. But if you want to put yourself under unnecessary stress to do that, you know, start small. You can merge it up to 200 grand's worth of accounts. Take it 20 grand. Keep the pressure off. Slowly build them up. And then, but then the most important thing is when you get them, don't get too excited. Because, you know.
That's what happened to me. The first time around, I was like a bull in a China shop. Just ran straight through it.
I am a bull in an Irish shop.
In an Irish shop. In a Guinness pub.
Cheers.
Right, anyway. Thank you, Ireland. I'll see you next year.